No Jenny in this episode of Defining Diabetes, but that's okay. I can handle it. In today's episode, I'll define algorithm. Defining Diabetes is made possible by Dexcom, Omnipod, and Dancing for Diabetes. Please remember that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise, and to always consult a physician before becoming bold with insulin or making any changes to your medical plan. The word algorithm isn't really thought of as diabetes specific, but in the coming months and years, it's going to be. The general definition for algorithm is a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. In Webster's definition, it expands this a little bit. A procedure for solving a mathematical problem in a finite number of steps that frequently involves repetition of an operation. More broadly, a step-by-step procedure for solving a problem or accomplishing some end. Now, why am I choosing in the middle of all these diabetes definitions to tell you about algorithm? Well, that's simple. In closed-loop systems, algorithms are the brain. For example, Omnipod is working on their Horizon system that they expect to have out in the year 2020. It's a hybrid closed-loop system that uses an Omnipod, a Dexcom G6, and an algorithm. This algorithm is designed specifically to take the information from your Dexcom G6, the information about your blood sugar, what it is, how fast it's moving, what direction it's going. This algorithm takes that information, goes through a bunch of settings, and decides this is how much more or less insulin you need to maintain a steady, stable time and range, to avoid a low blood sugar, to stop a pending high. This algorithm is going to make all of those decisions. So I think it's incredibly important that you know what an algorithm is, because you're going to be hearing the word a lot. Now, be clear about what an algorithm isn't. It's not a fortune teller. It can't see the future. It doesn't know something's going to happen before it does. It can only make decisions based on the settings that you tell it. What do I mean by that? If your settings say that your insulin to carb ratio is, 1 unit covers 6 carbs, and your basal rate is definitely 2.5 an hour, and you count your carbs up and you say, okay, this is 50 carbs, algorithm, here it comes, but you're way wrong. It's 100 carbs. Well, the algorithm believes you that it's 50 carbs, and it believes that it knows what your insulin to carb ratio is, what your basal rate's supposed to be. And so it is possible that it won't be able to stop that high blood sugar. Not right away, but eventually it will see that it's happening and it'll get on it. But it's not a mind reader. It's not a catch-all. It's not going to fix everything. These algorithms, however, are in their infancy right now within the diabetes community. And from what I've seen already from a number of them, they're spectacular. So I think it's worth you understanding what an algorithm is, as I believe they're going to have a large part in the way you live your life with type 1 diabetes in the future, the not so distant future. The t-shirts that you've all been asking for and the other swag is now available at juiceboxpodcast.com. Scroll down, click on merch. There you will find t-shirts, flip-flops, kids shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, really nice quality tote bags. And we're always going to be adding more. Right now you can get a shirt that says bold with insulin, stop the arrows, be bold, and the brand new Juicebox Podcast logo designed by one of you. Coming soon, bump and nudge, more insulin, and the other phrases from the podcast that you use in your everyday life. So support the podcast, remind yourself to be bold, grab a t-shirt. All you have to do is go to juiceboxpodcast.com. As always, a sincere thank you for listening, for supporting the show, for telling others about it. And I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to ask you to leave a beautiful review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, because I've already asked you to buy a t-shirt, and it would be too much to ask these two things of you. That's what a good person I am. Hey, last thing, this algorithm episode of Defining Diabetes, it's not, timing by mistake or anything like that. It's sort of on purpose, because I'm going to be talking about something you guys have all been bugging me about for months. Next Tuesday. So enjoy your weekend and get ready. The podcast episode you asked for is on its way. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.